Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Sexual Liar, aka Coach Bird, and I am the host of the BYRDCAGE show. Cousin Tracey.
Hey, good afternoon. Of course, I'm Cousin Tracey. You're on the Bird Show. And we at it again, episode 11.
This is episode 11. We're cranking these things out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, today, in light of some things that have recently happened,
Transpired,
you know what I'm saying?
last couple of days.
I think, the topic today is a good topic, especially for our student athletes, you know what I'm saying? But it's also good for our head coaches, our parents, our family members,
Our trainers.
our trainers who have, their hands on these high school student athletes, and they need to have this conversation with them.
And our kids' friends, our athletes'
Right,
friends.
exactly,
You know?
exactly. So today, this episode 11, we're going to be talking about decisions. You know what I'm saying? And the decisions that we make, how they can affect opportunities that we have. You can lose that opportunity if you don't make the correct decision. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to jump right into it. And cousin, what's the importance of making good decisions? Let's talk a little bit about that.
First and foremost, you want to hold yourself to a different standard, right? And when you're an athlete, unfortunately, even though people feel like a long time ago that athletes were role models, but you actually are.
Right.
Because you're on a stage where people see you. You're on TV. Even in the college levels, some of the high school levels, now with the YouTube and streaming, people are watching.
True.
So you want to set yourself up so you can be held to a certain standard and a certain accountability, because people are watching.
Right.
And you have younger people looking at you, and some younger people desire to want to be like you and be on the level that you are. So you have to put yourself in a position where you make good decisions,
Right.
where you're walking the walk, talking the talk. You're being admirable as best as you can.
Right,
Because let's be clear,
right.
Teenagers, you make dumb mistakes.
Right.
Young adults, you make dumb mistakes. But for the most part, you got to hold yourself to a different standard. Even when you're in high school,
Right.
you can't be the class clown in class because you're an athlete.
Right.
Other kids watch, and they a lot of times it's like, he think he can get away with it because he's a basketball player. He think he can get away with it because he's on the football team. He think he can get away with it. So you have to put yourself in a different light.
True. True.
Because people are watching.
They're watching, and with people watching is really, like you were saying, even that much more a greater job to consciously make good decisions, because like you said, all eyes are on you.
And the platforms are different now, like with
Right,
social
right.
media,
Oh, that's
social
just-
media and everybody
Can't get away with nothing.
right, you can't get away. And with everybody taping, everybody downloading,
Right.
it's in the cloud. People are
Right,
watching.
right,
I mean,
right.
people are live streaming. People are going live. So with all of that going on, you always got to try to hold yourself to a decent standard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Never know, like you said, because you might make a not so good decision, but it might be to the point where like you're not going to post it on your social. Like you have no, like I know I probably shouldn't be doing this, but what, I'll be alright because I'm not going to post anything. I ain't going. But like you said, there's so many other people with cameras, so many people with agendas. Like if you're at a, my high school students, you're at a party or something, you think you're amongst your friends, you're doing something maybe you shouldn't be doing. Your so-called boy over here might be like, yeah, I'm gonna put this on the gram. He think he hot stuff. Wait till this go up on the gram.
Or wait to the opportune moment, because some people don't post everything right away, but they keep it in their memory bank. And
I was gonna say that too.
a couple kids, homeboy just signed to go D1, or homegirl just signed.
Right.
Yo, let me show you about this party she went to when we was in 11th grade, 10th grade. So it's about just trying your best to live a good, a reputable lifestyle, and people are watching. And your money. It's about dollars and cents. We always talk about that, right? And your money for whomever, because even though high schools is not a money thing, but it's the rep of the school.
Right.
Like, yo, I seen these kids from this school, they was wilding out at the mall, and they was wilding, and then it goes back, and it makes the school look bad. Then when you get to the next level, college, you're their money.
That's it.
You represent that school, and these kids don't understand. They got a lot to lose.
They gotta understand, like especially when these guys are getting those offers, especially like them big D1 offers, things of that. When those coaches and recruiters and all of that make that decision to invest, let's just for $250,000 of their money into you for your education. You know what I'm saying? Best believe, especially now, because the tools are out there. All right, let's see what he does when he's not on the field or on the court. Let's see what he does when he's not in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get grades. Let's see what his social life is like.
Right.
And we all know it because we're all on social media. You know what I'm saying? You can get a peek into somebody's life.
Or what you think their life is from their story, their social media. Because people post,
like that, you know what I'm saying?
People post what they think is popular to see, and those popular things are the things that could be detrimental to you as an athlete, you as a person, your reputation. Like, it could be detrimental, and that's why everything don't warrant being posted.
Right.
Everything don't warrant a picture op. Everything don't warrant. Everything doesn't warrant that. Some things you need to put your phone away for.
Very true, very true. Because I know from experience, and like we said, this is our opinions. Like we always say, but we've been on this earth for a long time and
long enough to know.
You know what I'm saying?
We done seen a lot of things that bite people in their butt.
And experienced some things even with us. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen, I've coached athletes that have lost opportunities due to a social media post.
And it's crazy because there's an organization, shout out to Shelly, there's an organization called Rainy Day.
Okay.
They support athletes. Like, they try, they get them like stuff going when they go away to college, like little baskets of money and scholarships. She ran this little program in 2020 because they didn't have a graduation, and a lot of people wanted to adopt the student.
Okay.
And in adopting the student was to give them a wish list of items they wanted for their dorm. Because again, a lot of our students in 2020 didn't have graduations, didn't have graduation parties, didn't have trunk parties, didn't have going away parties. So they was helping out the need. So she posted, like, listen, change your Facebook name. It's people from all over the country. Change what you got, what you posted. And it's just so crazy, even in that avenue. And these weren't even athletes. People were skeptical about helping kids because of what they saw on their social media page. Like, don't nobody want to see a 17-year-old smoking weed or drinking, and I'm giving you money because guess what? Statistically, you may not graduate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Statistically, those that's drinking, smoking, and doing things sometimes don't finish all 4 years. Now you got those that do, that finish at the top of their class. I know some of them too. But I also know some of the people whose environment and people that they be around has hindered them from complete success.
And that's
But everybody was talking about the young lady. I'm not going to pronounce her name because I always pronounce it wrong.
We'll just say Richardson.
She's the hype right now. Her story's the hype right now. And I posted, the bottom line is this, and rules are rules. We all know when you sign up to play high school ball, they test you. High school sports, they test you. And it doesn't always happen, but sometimes, again, if you have a winning program, right before the playoffs in the States, they may randomly test. College, they test. I know this to be fact. Right before playoffs, NCAA comes through, it's random testing. You sign off on these contracts when you sign off to be part of these teams. Now, I know people say it's just weed is legal, this, that, and the third, but the bottom line is there's over 600 different drugs and things you cannot, vitamins and stuff you cannot take when you're in that track world. That's their rule. And when you sign up to participate, you have to follow the rules. Now, we all know rules have been put in place for a very long time to hinder us as a people, as a culture. But we know this, so we have to tread lightly. And yeah, it may be black and white, but at the end of the day, we can't call the black and white issue because you signed up to follow the rules, right? And even though the rules are shady and gray, the area is gray, but trust and believe, they're going to make the rules apply to some that don't apply to other. And that's even in everyday life. So these kids got to understand, just because Bob did it, that don't mean you can get away with it. Because at the end of the day, they already might not be as happy that the big black kid or the fast black girl got the money. You know what I mean? And this one may not have gotten a whole lot of money. And the bottom line is this. Rules are in place. And until we're in a position to successfully and effectively change rules.
Right.
If you sign up to be an athlete, you have to follow these rules. And that's it. That's all. We're going to talk about the accountability piece. Because, yeah, I'm an athlete and I might smoke a little weed or I might drink or I might do whatever. But what about my team telling me,
right.
Like, where's the accountability piece? Like, I know I'm supposed to be accountable for anything I do.
Right.
And my hat's off to the young lady because she took responsibility.
Yes,
She took accountability. She
much.
owned up to it, and that speaks volumes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Nike decided to still support her and endorse her, because accountability is key. But the fact of the matter remains is my squad need to be accountable for some stuff too, because. Where we come from, if I make it, you make it.
Right.
But if I don't make it, and you ain't in my ear telling me, like, yo, you might not want to do that. Let's not post this picture. Let's not go to that party. Yo, I know you want to go, but we might want to sit this one out. If you're not there telling me that,
then
what you there for?
And that's a good point. And it's funny that you said that, because I have a perfect example of that. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not sitting up here saying that we're holier than thou. We all make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? We're just trying to help some people avoid some of the mistakes that we were either able to avoid or that we
did, and we had to come back from.
We had to come back from, because I made plenty of mistakes, and I've just been blessed to have a great support system, and the help of God, and I've been able to land on my feet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But and when we talk about we're trying to talk to these young athletes so they don't become grown-ups and still making some of the same mistakes. You know what I'm saying? But with the story you was just saying about you might not want to post that. When I got the Camden High job, when I first got that job, and Camden High basketball, spotlight on it. I don't care what the records are, what you're doing. It's a spotlight. You know what I'm saying, on that whole program. You know what I'm saying? So, my circle, you know what I'm saying, they was like, not that I was doing anything crazy on the book and all that, but they like, you might want to take that. Like, you ain't got to post that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was in my ear where I'm just like posting stuff how we post stuff.
Right.
They like, you got a little different title now. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot more eyes wanting to, because everybody's not your friend. Right. So they're just waiting for you to slip up.
So they can screenshot.
Screenshot
and send it to somebody, and it just get watered down, translated differently.
Right. It's a whole big
convoluted. It'll be a whole mess.
So my young athletes out there, if you're listening, and like I said before, coaches, trainers, parents, family members, have this conversation with your young athletes, because this is super important. Right. You know what I'm saying? And because, especially for the young, that story I told that happened, I was older, you know what I'm saying? So we're talking about 14, 15, 16, who, who's influenced by their peers, especially like you said earlier, especially they, what teenager don't want to be like in the in crowd or kind of popular, you know what I'm saying? So now you're the star athlete, you know what I'm saying? They put you on a pedestal. Now you kind of want to show your boys or the girls that I'm still me. I'm still like me. You. Like, come on,
I'm just like
y'all
you.
Smoking? Let me go smoke.
Right.
We drinking. Let's go drink. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want to just so it's not like they want to. They kids.
Right. And the key is
being a kid.
The key is
they gotta be careful with that.
Having the necessary conversations, especially when, and as a parent, especially when you're placing your child on this avenue to be an athlete. Right. You have to have these conversations all along the way, so they understand and they can hear your voice when they're 17, 18, and they're driving and they're out. They remember what you told them at 12, 13, 14. Like, you got it over and over. Repeat yourself. Because even in the classroom, you gotta step up to the plate. Like, people, it's crazy because I remember, and we always go back to what we went through. My senior, into my junior year, my senior year, I transferred out of Camden Catholic into Camden High. And, the ledge was a big thing. People cutting and hanging on the ledge. So in the beginning, I didn't understand what that culture was. Like, I didn't understand anything about the ledge. I didn't really understand that. And that was y'all, 88 was y'all year. And I didn't really understand that, right? So in starting to participate, and I said participate, in hanging on the ledge, 4th, 5th, and 6th period, 4th, 5th, and 6th period, I was cutting the class. Right. So every time I would cut the class, the teacher would write me up. So the principal at the time was Ruthie Green Brown, and the lady in Mr. Jenkins' office, who was the dean of students, she was kind of like hiding the little pink slips. And she called me and was like, Tracey, we need to talk. The teacher keep writing you up. Eventually, I ain't going to be able to hide it. Long story short, Ms. Greenbrown's whole thing was, you a star athlete. I got to make an example out of you. You can't continue to cut class. What? Yeah. I'm like, what me being an athlete got to do with me cutting class? People cut class all the time. She was like, yeah, but if I let you get away with it, everybody going to think they can get away with it. So I got to make an example out of you. Boom. Lo and behold, I get Saturday school. Right? For like 6 Saturdays or 4 Saturdays, something crazy. You know, but my point is, when you're an athlete, they want you to guide the other kids that may not be in the in crowd, may not be popular. And people, those younger kids, those sophomores, those freshmen that are desiring either to be athletes or be in the in crowd, they watching the people in the in crowd. So the people in the in crowd ain't doing right. They going to think what they, you know, that's the way to get in the in crowd is not doing right. So, you know, you have to understand when you're teaching your child and you're mentoring these young people about being athletes, when you're an athlete, you're a leader. When you're an athlete, you're a role model. Whether you're the starter or whether you're the bench player, people just see you as being part of the team. You're still a role model and you're still a leader. When you wear that uniform, when you wear that warm-up jacket, when you are part of the team. I remember telling, I don't even know if he watched, but shout out to my boy, Andrew Bell, Superintendent Woodbury. I pulled up to Walmart. And some girls jumped out of Walmart. It was hot this day. They all had on their long sleeve warm-ups. They said Woodbury. I said, yo, Bell, I seen some girls. I think they play for your team. He was able to know, when I gave the description, he knew their names. You know what I mean? They were seniors, but my thing is he knew their names. So my point is, a lot of the kids are wearing these warm-ups. They got the school team on it or got the information on it, and people identify quickly. So you are a leader and you need to know that. Where, like I said, whether you're a starter or you're a bench player, you are a leader. You represent the program.
Like you said, when you're wearing that name across whatever you have on, because we tell our kids all the time at West Tech, I'm like, yo, listen, when you lead this gym, when you lead this building, you know what I'm saying? You're not only representing yourself, you're not only representing your family, you're representing the school, you know what I'm saying? So you want to carry yourself. Like, first of all, don't be out here doing no nonsense. But if you're doing something you probably shouldn't be doing, like, please don't have West Tech basketball blazed across your shirt. And you know what I'm saying? And same thing with soccer. We tell them all the time, like, yo, you're representing the community. You might not even think so because as a kid, you're not really thinking on that level. But you're representing you're not just representing yourself, you're representing the whole
community,
of people. You know what I'm saying? That you don't even know you're repping. So you can't be running around in these streets, you know what I'm saying?
Doing whatever you think you're doing. And the crazy part about it is, I think the kids don't understand that the power that they hold.
Right, yeah, that's true.
The power that they hold for themselves and their future. Like, you gotta really, once you decide to embark upon whatever your athletic choices, once you become an athlete, once you embark upon that role, you control your power. It's all within you. Whether you got a good work ethic, whether you got a sloppy work ethic, whether you succeed, whether you fail, it's you. Like, it's you. You gotta own that. And that's the accountability piece. We gotta teach our young people that you gotta own what you do. Right, wrong, and indifferent. You gotta own it. And here's the thing, and like we're saying, kids are gonna be kids. We get that. And you're young enough where you can make maybe make a bad decision and fix it. Because we've all been there. I made a bad decision and I was able to fix it. You know what I mean? It cost me college, but I was able to bounce back and become a police officer at 20 years old. You know what I mean? So my thing is, everybody makes mistakes, but at some point you're not going to be able to fix it.
That's the thing.
And you don't want to just do it because you're young and I still got time to grow. I still got time to grow. Sometimes whatever you do can be detrimental. And you're like the guy from the Seattle Seahawks, the rookie.
I forgot about that.
He was involved in a shooting.
I forgot about that part.
When he was in Florida, in college. And they had just decided to charge 11 people with a shooting that transpired. So now he's got released from the Seattle Seahawks as an adult for something that he did in college.
Decisions.
That he thought he may have gotten away with.
Right. But no.
And things can come back to bite you in the butt.
Yes.
I had an incident that happened in 1990.
Okay.
I became a police officer in 93.
Okay.
15 years into my 10 years into my career. 10 years into my career, the 1990 incident came up. They pulled me off the street and took my gun from me.
Oh, wow.
Because of something that transpired in 1990. Wow. 90 or 91. But the crazy part about it is I kind of thought I had gotten away with it.
Right, got you.
And I was 10 years.
Right.
I'm not even a rookie no more.
Right.
After 5 years, you're no longer a rookie.
You're a vet.
I'm vested. I'm 10 years in.
Right.
I get a phone call from IA. They're like, yo, we need to talk. And I'm like, about what? And in my head, I've been straight flying.
So you're not even thinking about that.
I've been straight since 93.
Right.
I ain't done nothing wrong.
Right.
Since not a parking ticket, speeding ticket, nothing. You know what I mean? I'm good.
Right.
They like, yo, did you know about this? I was like, well, I got hired.
Right. So
after that incident happened. So what we doing? But my point is, it was scary for me.
Right.
Because it could have went. I could have lost my career. Right. For something that happened years prior.
Yeah, 10 years
so
ago.
even when you do stuff and you think you've turned the corner and you right your wrong, that wrong can always come back and bite you in your butt. So these kids have to think before they make any decisions. And in the era of social media, clean up your social media. Be mindful of the name you use as your handle. Don't nobody want to hear big booty butt slapping. That hashtag. Daddy, we don't want that name.
We don't want that.
We don't want that name. Make your name simple. You know what I mean?
My name, Coach Bird.
You know,
our social medias is easy, Coach Bird. You know
Tracy
Exactly.
You can't be TH.
Right,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, make it simple. Like, we don't want to hear all the other stuff because at the end of the day, that's all a reflection on who you are.
Right.
And we said all the time, like we say all the time, we rep our last name.
Yes, indeed.
You know, there ain't many people that grew up in the community that we grew up with that don't know Arnold Bird, that don't know Lenny Hall. So when we got that too.
We got that too. You know what
got
I'm
that too. You know, so a lot of the kids, you know,
Very
you rep your last name, you rep who you are, you rep your school, you rep your position, you rep your team, you rep like you. If you want to be an athlete, this is who you are. This is it. So make sure your decisions reflect your choices, because you're choosing to be an athlete.
Choosing to do
this your choice.
Your choice.
Since this is your choice, make sure your decisions reflect your choice.
Because, like we said in the beginning, one bad decision can blow a whole good opportunity that you might have been able to have, a goal you might have been able to achieve, but just one bad decision that you thought
can send you right home.
Can send you home.
And sit you home and sit you
Sit
down.
you home. I mean, what happened with me at Lehigh, you know what I'm saying? I didn't make the right decisions. I decided not to do my schoolwork. When I got hurt playing football, I decided not to take physical therapy and rehab serious. And you know what?
Sent you behind right home. I remember that.
You know what I'm saying?
Sis got sent home.
Got sent
What's
home.
sis do?
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly. You know
I know you're in trouble.
In trouble? What? That's a whole other show right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, we were able to, and like I said, I got a great support system, so I was able to, you know, bounce back.
And that was the same thing with me. Like, I had a great supporting cast, and I was able to bounce back. And they, you know, even with me, my junior year, I made a decision, an adult decision, and it cost me my whole junior season. So I had to hustle that summer to let those recruiters know I was still active and I could still ball and I'm still good. You know what I mean? I had a great family support that helped me walk through that decision. But I made an adult decision that almost cost me high school athletics. I became a mom at 16, my junior year. It cost me the whole season. The whole season. And, you know, if it could have been detrimental. You know what I mean? It could have been detrimental. And that is decisions. Like decisions. Then I turned back around, screw up at 19. Like, what? You know what I mean? But again, you don't always get those opportunities to bounce back.
So you
and I'm thankful because now I can tell the story.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I can tell, and I can try to help, to avoid this and let y'all know it ain't easy to bounce back from that because people still remember.
Exactly.
People don't forget. People still remember, and no matter how old you get, we 50.
Right.
You 50, you going on 51, and I'm going 50, and people still remember when.
Yep.
You know what I
Still
mean?
remember.
You know?
And it's like you were saying too, like something that you might have done in the past can always come back, you know what I'm saying, to bite you in the butt. Like I remember a couple years ago, when like Kevin Hart had to answer a bunch of questions because of something he tweeted 10 years ago or something, and they brought it back up. You know what I'm saying? And now he got to answer all these questions.
And understand this, young people, for all our young people out there watching, those parents, listen, there's some screenshot masters out there. They troll just to screenshot people's Twitters, Instagram, and Facebook.
Make up a whole different
narrative. Make up a whole narrative so you can lose your job, so you can lose your scholarship, so you can lose your position, so you can lose your place, and more importantly, so it can damage your reputation, because your reputation is everything. And you got people out here that pride themselves in tearing other people down. Just for that purpose. So let's remember that. Let's remember this, even as our adults out there watching, even as coaches, mentors. And, you know, hopefully next week we're definitely going to bring our big bro Lando on. Lando says this all the time. He doesn't curse out in public. He doesn't show any anger. He tries to stay even keel as best as he can, because he said you never know what little kids are watching, what parents are watching, and who's watching, because your reputation is everything. And people are not going to trust you to uplift or coach or mentor or train their kid if you're out here being reckless. And that goes for adults, that goes for students, that goes for athletes, that goes for kids. Whoever you are, just remember, you got to make decisions that's going to be to reflect who you are.
Right.
Because your reputation is everything.
Right. And that was going to be our last point, you know what I'm saying? You know, how do we go about helping our student athletes that we come in contact with make these good decisions? And you just answered that question. You just got to, as much as you might not want to be a role model at times, but when you're a coach, when you're a mentor, when you're a parent, when you're a trainer, whoever it might be, sorry, but you're a role model. So you're going to have to carry yourself. You're going to have to make good decisions.
Right.
So your, you know, high school athletes you might be dealing with, like, all right, Coach Bird is making good decisions. Maybe I want to think about this before I, you know what I'm saying? And like you said earlier about, like, our parents, like, I'm always hearing something my dad said. You know
Back
what I'm
in the
saying?
day, right? It echoes.
Like, it's always, and it's like, you know, I'm like, hey, he said that would happen if I did such and such. Right. Or I'm like, my dad always told me, you know, such and such. So, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to.
And these coaches and these parents and these adults that are around athletes, around our students, if the child or young adult comes to you or the youth comes to you and asks you a question or wants your opinion, please give them the real opinion. You know what I mean? Don't sugarcoat it. Please give them the real opinion on what's going to happen if they make that decision. You know? And when you're as a parent of an athlete, just make sure your child knows what's going to happen if they make that decision. You know, you go out here and you do this, this may happen. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you not to do it. But if you do it, this may happen. Right. Exactly. And I have them conversations all the time with young people. Like, you have to be aware of your surroundings. Because just because you think no one's paying attention, somebody's paying attention. You know, and I, you know, and even as an adult woman, I hold myself and I do the things that I do because I know, like, my daughters and my granddaughters are watching. You know, and there's some young people in the community that watch. You know, they're watching, and those little eyes, in those little eyes, I'm a big person. Right. So I gotta hold myself to be a big person, you know, and I gotta hold myself to a certain standard as best as I can. You know, and I'm getting better with it. We all are. You know, everybody's about growth, and we have to let our young people know they're going to come across some trials and tribulations, and we as adults in their lives just have to teach them how to navigate and maneuver through the trials and tribulations as best as they can. Because again, we know trouble finds you.
Yeah, especially when you're that star, quote unquote star athlete, star. You know what I'm saying? It's coming.
And
all the temptation,
all the peer pressure, all the everybody want to be down. You know what I mean?
And if you don't have that, you know, somebody helping you, because like I said, you're 14, 15, 16, 17, you don't it's hard to navigate it by yourself. So if you don't have that strong support, that strong coach, strong mentor, strong parent, strong something in your life to kind of help you out, like, you know what I'm saying? You could be in trouble.
Right, but also for our young people that's watching, you're your brother or sister's keeper.
Oh, yeah.
So if your boy or your girl or your friend or whomever ain't doing right, it's up to you, because you know better.
Right.
And I don't want to hear, man, I can't tell him what to do. Y'all friends.
Right.
Listen, I tell you what, bro. You want to be smoking that, you're not getting in the car with me, because if we get stopped, they're going to think we all smoking weed.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to hold your friends accountable, too. Like, yo, nah, we not doing that. Like, yo, like, yeah, we not doing it. Oh, yeah, by the way, you do know that smoking or doing whatever you're doing is going to wear you down, because we got practice tomorrow.
We got practice, right.
And you're going to be dragging. Right. And if you drag, we all going to have to run. You know what I mean? So, like, it's about accountability piece, too. Like, I know these young people don't understand, but you got to be your brothers and sisters' keeper. Like, you got to tell your friend your age sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you know better.
Right.
Tell them, listen, you can't do that. And sometimes when a young person hears from their peer,
it's stronger message.
Yeah, when you hear from your peer.
I say it all the time. Like, to the leaders of my different teams that I coach, you know, I'm like, listen, I can get on whoever, you know what I'm saying? But if you get on them, you know what I'm saying? It's a little stronger message coming from my boy, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, dude, you gotta like stop coming late to practice. It might mean a little bit more than coming from the coach all the time.
Yeah, I remember when a young person was telling me a story that and shout out to Coach Preston Brown from Woodrow Wilson High School. He tells the story that he had to go to college during the height of Katrina.
Okay.
And you know, he was in Tulane, which was right in Louisiana,
right
in the NOLA. And they moved them, and a lot of kids was thinking about going home.
Right.
So the coach allowed him to talk to the teammates, and was like, he basically told them from his perspective, like, I can't go home, and what going home means for me.
Got you.
And if all of us go home and there's no program, this may not be no tomorrow for me. So hearing from him, it uplifted his other teammates, y'all, and the teammates decided to stay, and they pushed through. So sometimes when you hear from your peers, it hits different, it translates different than coming from your coach, your mentor, your parent, you know, who you see your role model, you know, your big bro. Sometimes when you hear from your peers, it translates a little and resonates a little different than when you hear it coming from an adult.
That's true. Well, on that note, you know what I'm saying? We're going to wrap that up right there. And again, decisions, you know what I'm saying? Just like we said, nobody's perfect. We understand that. We had people telling us to be careful of our decisions, and we still make mistakes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we're saying you're never going to make a mistake. You're never going to make a bad decision. But we're just trying to bring it to the forefront. Just maybe you can think about it a little more before you decide to do something. You know what I'm saying? And you know, my coaches out there, my trainers, my parents, all of that, just making sure, you know, you try to make good decisions so our young athletes can see you making good decisions, and, you know, they're going to want to make the best decisions that they should be making. You know what I'm saying?
And for our coaches and trainers that are out there, take some time during the course of working out to just talk to your athletes and talk to them about their social media, about drug use, about the company they keep, about where they hanging, about their, you know, all of that. Just take time at the end of practice or, you know, before practice, just to have those necessary conversations, because you'd be surprised how small conversations can go a long way.
Very true. Very true. Well, that's episode 11 in the books. Another one down. You know what I'm saying? Any shout outs, anything before we get out of here?
We'll be doing July 16th. We're doing a kickoff called Night in Our Parks in Camden, in the Camden community, Camden City community. We're doing an all-call. We're trying to put the power back into the residents to keep the parks clean so our kids can go and play and become athletes and get some exercise and play on the basketball courts. Try to deal with the lighting, the trash, get rid of the vagrants that's in the parks. So July 16th, we'll be at 7th and Clinton from 4 to 8 doing the cleanup. We're going to start there and try to take all our parks back one park at a time. So it's called Not Our Parks. It's a coalition that we're coming up with, so we can get these parks back, so these kids can get out there and play.
I mean, because, you know, especially us coming up, when we came up, you know, just being outside, being able to go to the park, you know what I'm saying? That's huge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it starts there for some of the smaller kids.
Right.
You know,
It starts
there. You know, you want the monkey bars, you feel that you're a little strong. Next thing you know, you want to try out for an athletic program. But my thing is, you know, let's put the power back into the community, clean these parks up one park at a time, so we can give these kids somewhere to play.
True. And I'll definitely make sure I'll put that information up when this airs. All right. So everybody out there, if you're available, you can come out and help. And you know, that's just a good thing, and it's definitely needed.
Always about the kids.
Always about the kids. Always about the kids. Hey, everybody out there, we appreciate you. Please make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you'll be notified when the new episodes come out. And that's all I got, cousin. You know what I'm saying? So,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Sachariah, a.k.a. Coach Bird, host of the BYRDCAGE show with my lovely co-host, who I can also call my family, my cousin Tracey. We'll talk to you next time.
It was a stone groove, my man.
That's the signal. Let's go.